Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another fragrance first impressions, and this is going to be on a fragrance from Bond number 9, and it's, forgive me if I mispronounce it, Nuits de Noho, and it's a feminine fragrance created in 2013 with rose and pineapple and a lot of other goodies. So if you'd like to know what my first impressions of this fragrance are, then keep watching. If you guys don't know the format of my first impressions videos, let me remind you once again. I start off by spritzing this fragrance on my skin, waiting about 10 to 15 seconds for it to warm up a little bit, and then I give you the notes that I pick up, its opening, let you know what I like, come back in about 15 to 20 minutes when it starts to dry down, and then give you my impressions of that, and then I will give you my thoughts, my final thoughts for today, or my first impressions. Then next week I will give you, after wearing pretty much through this entire sample, my mini review of what I think of this fragrance, if I think it's worth picking up, if I think it's worth the hype, if I was disappointed in it, what I didn't like, and things like that. Which means at the end of this video I'm going to have my final thoughts on last week's fragrance, which was Fleur de Parfum from Chloe. So let's get started. Let's start off as usual by spritzing it on. I usually like to spritz it on both wrists. Right off the bat, I'm getting heavy rosewood, heavy woody notes in this, but in a very pleasant way. This is really nice. Okay, so I'm gonna let this kind of dry, about 10 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, let me read you the notes while this dries down. The top notes are bergamot, mandarin, and pineapple leaves. The heart notes are jasmine and rosewood, which is what I picked up. And the base notes are vanilla, patchouli, and gray musk. Now, I definitely pick up rosewood. I definitely pick up some type of tropicalness. I would say that's probably the mandarin or the pineapple leaves. And I am picking up heavy on the patchouli and vanilla. So far, this is sitting really nicely on my skin, but I want to let it kind of dry down a little bit. So I will be back in, I'm going to give this about 15 minutes. I don't think this is going to need too long. Bond number 9s usually settle on my skin in about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. Let me tell you my thoughts of it. So initially, right off the bat, I got heavy wood patchouli, and I got definitely like a tropical feel to it, which I believe is probably the mandarin and the pineapple leaves. As it's settling down, I'm getting more musk, and it's getting a little bit heavier on the vanilla, which is making it a little bit warmer. I've picked up jasmine notes, but they're not very loud. It's definitely more of a muted jasmine, which I actually think works really well with the wood and the bergamot and the vanilla and the musk and the patchouli. So far, I'm really liking this. It's a little bit different than other things that I've tried, but there's something very simple and familiar about this. Maybe not simple, but very familiar about this that I really like. It's a little bit billowing, soft, a little bit citrus, tiny bit bright, warm. The musk, the patchouli, and the bergamot are really elevating this and making it a bright fragrance, while the rosewood, the jasmine, and the vanilla are kind of grounding it a little bit and giving it a little bit of warmth. And I think that those are playing really together, and the rosewood is hitting my nose in such a nice way. So far this is a beauty. This is an absolute beauty, but with Bond number 9 fragrances, it's not so much about how it sits on my skin, it's how long it wears. Either they wear, like, the longevity is gone, completely gone in like 2 hours, or they are a beast and last for like 12 hours. So we will see how long this one lasts. Initially right now, if I were to give this a grade, I'd probably give it an A. For fragrance, it's gorgeous, but it could go down or up depending on longevity. So far, also, this seems to be more of an evening fragrance or an outdoor fragrance, just because it is really loud and strong. I would not recommend this for the workplace or for class, but this is a really beautiful fragrance. I think this would be gorgeous for a date. Oh man, this is nice. Okay, so far I'm really digging this, but let's give it a week and let's talk about Fleur de Parfum from Chloe. Now again, this, just to remind you, the notes of this are verbena, rose, cherry blossom, and race powder. I liked this, but I didn't love this. because I think, okay, there's the original Chloe. We all know it's this ambery tuberose from the 80s. And then there's the updated new version of Chloe, which is a little bit more light, a little bit more ethereal and youthful. I love them both, but my heart belongs to the original Chloe. But this, to me, is like the new version of Chloe. A little bit lemony, a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter. And so it's, to me, it's a beautiful fragrance, but I feel like if I'm comparing this to Chloe, there's no comparison. Chloe is just an outstandingly beautiful fragrance. I think Chloe makes some really stunners, very beautiful, feminine, romantic, whimsical, just very enchanting fragrances that are very wearable. And I feel like this definitely fits into that category, but it doesn't rise above or even meet Chloe. And Chloe to me is just a gorgeous fragrance in general. But this is very beautiful. Do not get me wrong. It wears nicely. I get about 4 hours of wear. With a fragrance like this that's very light, I generally get between 4 to 6 hours. Most of the time it's around the 4-hour range. So this performs about the way the other fragrances from this line does. Roses to Chloe is an exception. I get a little bit more longevity. I get closer to 5 to 6 hours with that, but generally I get around 4 hours. So this performs about what I would hope it would perform at for a fragrance like this, how it wears, how it smells, how light and kind of sheer it is. The projection on this is actually really nice. It's about arm's length, so if you're standing next to somebody or you're on a date and you're out to dinner, they'll be able to experience your fragrance without coughing and gagging. But at the same time, you are definitely going to leave a nice, gentle wake of fragrance behind you. Because this does have a little bit of a wake, depending on where you work or where you go to school, maybe, maybe not, but I do kind of think this is probably going to be work appropriate because it is so gentle and light and sheer. It also is really nice because I feel like this is a perfect springtime or summertime scent. So if you guys were looking to get something really beautiful and light and a little bit bright for spring, I think this is a fantastic one. But it didn't quite steal my heart because Chloe, just to me, is just so much better. But I do think this is worth checking out, especially if you like very feminine, very light, springy, effervescent fragrances. This is fantastic. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you guys like my fragrance videos, remember to give this a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this. And also don't forget to subscribe because it's free and I'm free and I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekends as well. So I'll always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy. Have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I'll see you next time. Bye!